Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that meets every Tuesday night. Last week, the party did their speechifying. Yukikaze took the stage after deliberating with the rest of the group on exactly how he should and what he should say to them. And then he laid it out for the army, quickly winning hearts with a combination of the information he spent the last couple weeks, actually, gathering about how to lead and how to deal with cults, and with the help, the rest of the party being on a psychic link with him, with Jebel sent out Skith to observe the crowd, to give him tips on how and where to direct his energies, and with Cyrus reading emotions, reading thoughts, to give similar. Together, all of that put together allowed Yukikaze to make a good speech that won over quite a large portion of the crowd. Just a few pockets of dissent and questioning faces and angered people and the disappearance of Tatsuya, but before any of that could come up, before the crowd could, any of those people out there could voice their dissent and put the party on the spot about really what was going on, Thandros, Guardian of the East, descended from the sky as promised, fulfilling her oath to the party. She no longer owes them, by coming down and singing the praises of the party, explaining their relationship, and lending legitimacy to all of their claims, despite perhaps not knowing any of the things they lied about. Or perhaps because of not knowing any of the things they lied about. After making the speech, the party moved away to catch Thandros up on what had been going on over the past couple months of them being apart, since they hadn't seen her in person since their time in Arngahir's Oasis, way back before we started streaming. And had only spoken to her via sending maybe twice at most in that time. The other thing that happened was there was a sudden moment as Leah's warlock power manifested itself, having hit level 20, along with several others. It seems that her connection to Zintharamil has changed her further, giving her the emotional hair color changing that Nalia has exhibited in the past, and sharpening her features to be more elven in nature. But I think that was all the important stuff. So at this moment, the party is stood away from the army as Thandros, Vendar's older brother, is getting them rallied once again and getting them ready to go into more drills and training. And the party is deciding exactly what they want to do and how in regard to getting the army to Ebengard to face down the dragons, and if they will teleport in order to extend the training time that they have. But we will find out now. There we go. Hit the wrong button. Alright, so I believe that the last thing that happened was Thandros had given a bit of a pep talk to Vendar, seeing his new dragonborn form for the first time, and encouraging him, since he seemed down, that this was something to be proud of and not viewed as a punishment. Lair, did you have a direction you wanted to take the discussion now that the floor is open?
Probably should have put more thought into that.
I mean, if you don't, that's fine. It's just you had expressed to me in between sessions that the next thing you wanted to think about was how much time you would give the army to train.
So, Laramentus will say, the army currently has plans for their mundane transport via ships and marching. Given the spellcasting of myself and Cyrus, we might be able to... Leah's not going to be able to help us with the gate plan. Because Leah can't cast Simulacrum or Gate.
Oh.
Or Wish.
Or Wish or Demiplane. Which would be the main things that we need for that.
I can cast Wish and Demiplane.
Carry
on. It is possible that we can create a gate that the army can begin moving through via a demiplane, which will require 2 casts of gate, which is why we would need a simulacrum of myself. And we would need to figure out exactly how quickly we could move people through. I haven't crunched the numbers yet. The drawbacks to this method that I see are that I think Laramentus will telepath at this point, because I think we're still connected via the bond because it was 2 hours long, right?
Yes, it's true. Did you want, if you're not going to be including Thandros in this discussion, I mean, she's perfectly happy going to the army, but she probably expects there is aught else to be said to her, so you might want to let her know. Other than that, yeah, go for it.
I guess if Laramentus is relatively confident that we're not being overheard...
Anything is possible. There are, mages here, though most of them, as you can look out and see, are novices.
Yeah.
But you also can just plainly see that even at this distance, a lot of the soldiers out there are still giving you a lot of attention, curiosity, distrust in some cases, though not many.
So I guess Laramentus will say there are some drawbacks to that, which I think to Thandros specifically, Laramentus will say we can discuss when we're more... I can inform you of when we're more sure of privacy.
She seems intrigued by this, and you just kind of see like a conspiratorial smirk spreading across her halfling face.
The benefit with moving large numbers of people magically in a very short time span, though, are that we can spend more time training and giving people time to recover after training so that they are better prepared and more fresh than they would be marching all the way into Ebengard. And I think telepathically to everyone else, Laramentus will say, there are things that we can do with the spell so that it doesn't immediately appear exactly the same if we have the gate within the demiplane cast first. But it is possible that somebody might connect the spell that we are casting with how things looked when
She clears her throat. And blinks at you.
I think it's that Laramenda stops with when and then just like doesn't finish the thought, assuming that people are intelligent enough to continue that thought, and also possibly thinking that she's reading his mind, which means it's possible there would be other people who are doing so or who could be doing so. There are things that we might be able to do with teleportation circles to move people quickly.
So, multiple people can open to the same demi-plane, right?
Yes.
Perhaps we could try setting up 2 demi-plane doors as an extended gate. One here, one at the destination.
I can crunch those numbers. I believe the demi-plane doorway is like a single, like the door is large enough to allow medium creatures to pass through unhindered. So it's it would be single file. So like
single file, but we would be able to keep it open significantly longer than any gate.
It's true.
I think that's fascinating.
Especially with metamagic, because we could keep the doorway open for 2 hours per casting.
Cyrus, roll
an
insight.
8th level spell. Laramendos would get
Roll what?
2 casts.
Insight.
Alright, let me grab my dice. It's a 14 on die. I need to double check my dragon wisdom.
Okay.
Pretty sure the dragon's better at sight than I was. That's at 16.
Okay. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Everything seems to be same energy.
Laramendos will say, I'll ponder that method and the amount of spell casting we can throw at it to see if that's feasible.
Alright.
Out of character, I, the player, am going to crunch numbers outside of the session and get back to everyone.
I mean, if you want, I could try and work on those while you go over more topics.
But also, I think that we don't need to make that decision immediately, since there was going to be at least a few days anyway before the army was going to move.
There's at least 3 days left before that was to happen.
So other things that we would like to deal with in the meantime, there's the training of the army and helping them to encounter dealing with dragons. If I am in possession of my 9th level spell, I can troop polymorph a rock into some kind of smaller dragon to use in the training. But that is limited. And it is possible we might be needing my 9th level spells for acquiring lost things. He looks at Vendar when he says that.
Yeah, I gave my life for this. I need my shit back.
Believe it or not, returning your life to you might have been easier than returning your stuff.
It was much easier.
Yeah, I bet.
His life wasn't adrift in the astral plane.
Other than that, I would like to personally see about the magical capabilities of whatever wizards that they have here. And I believe that there are certain areas of combat within the capabilities within the troops that other people might be more knowledgeable to assist with that training. In the time
Leah
that we
should
have.
teach hand to hand.
What?
Hand-to-hand combat.
I can give you a high five.
A lot of them probably don't know about it.
Weren't we taught that by someone?
Yeah, you were taught that by a little kid in Thanandir.
Right.
Right. The one whose father didn't know what horology was.
He thought you were insulting him. Okay, so we've got broad strokes. Lots of things that the party can do. It has been implied to all of you by Laramendes here that, you know, you've got some time here, and you've got a whole lot of people who could benefit from the knowledge, the experience that you all have. Do you want to put it to use?
I can teach archery and musket.
Yeah, totally can.
Teaching people how to use the guns is probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
You can teach people how to use the guns and practice with the pistols that you haven't gotten to do so much.
I could. I tried to use them once and then they got blown up.
Am I going to teach people how to visit the Raven Queen more often?
Perhaps not the skill set of highest priority.
Well, I always come back.
That's true. You gotta teach them that part
Have
also.
friends to survive you.
The most important part of that skill is having someone with Revivify next to you.
So what you got to do when you meet the
me.
Raven Queen is have rich friends, okay? Just write that down.
Rich and
Rich
incredibly
friends.
powerful friends.
Alright, sorry. Leah, you were trying to say something?
Oh no, I was just adding to the jokes.
Alright. If everyone is interested in sharing their skills for a portion of today, even for the rest of today, you know that it is quite early here still. The sun just having risen a little bit before you got here, and you've only been here, let's call it 3 hours at this point.
I'll propose. Sorry, to stop you. I'll propose should I spar with people that are interested parties to see or to possibly gain more respect from them, show them my strength?
And it like Beckham. Anyway, so
Have you had a short rest?
yes, you've all had a short rest because you've mostly been standing around talking for the majority of the 3 hours you've been here. But Yukikaze did ask a very serious question to the party about how much and in what ways he should interact with the people he's trying to lead.
Yes.
You should probably. I imagine you want him to warm up to you, so you should probably don't get into too much detail about anything, but try to be friendly with them and get them to like you.
I think it's not a bad idea to show them your abilities. And I think that Thandros would probably know who would be best to be spending that time with. I did realize another thing that I could do is create an area that is very similar in nature to Ebengard for people to fight in. So people can see about acclimating to the cold and fighting in the snow.
Is that Mirage Arcane?
Yes. Just a mile of mountainous cold on the middle of this island.
While
I guess I don't have to be.
assisting in training the troops is certainly a good idea, we perhaps should start by taking inventory and learning what plans are already in place for moving the troops.
You can make a wisdom check.
Then we probably should get together with Thandros then.
Wisdom insight.
16 on the wisdom.
You know that all the times that you've come here, you've arrived either out in the water or near the beach, and there are a goodly number of boats of many different sizes. They're ships, one might even say. And this being an island, if they were planning to march off of it, onto those boats would be the way to do it.
Yeah, we spend the beginning of this whole thing by resummoning Lorelei.
Very well. You may be resummoning Lorelei. I'll let them get a little more words in before I play her.
I mean, it takes an hour, so...
Yeah.
Right? We need to get with Thandros and have him come over and join us.
Yeah, if there are no objections to that, you can signal him over.
I will. If he's arranged the signal.
Yep. Like I said, a lot of people in the army are very frequently shooting glances at you, curiously watching what's going on, in spite that they're following Thandros and other officers' orders. And those officers and Thandros are often sending glances over, so you can catch his attention. So, Thandros will see your signal and, instruct the soldiers that he was directly ordering to continue the particular training regiment he had set them to until he returns. He jogs up, and you can notice that as he's jogging up, he's seeing the whole group. His eyes are scanning that and kind of, assessing. But all of you notice that he's often looking toward the red and gold dragonboard. That is Vendar. But he arrives, and, as he comes to a stop, he straightens himself up, he salutes, as now you are the one in command of this army. He salutes to Yukikaze and says, "What can I do for you, Commander?"
Just wanted to keep you in the loop with some of the stuff and also get your opinion on should I interact with the troops at all. Have a sparring match with a couple of the strongest to really show them that, my skills.
He raises a gauntleted hand to his chin and rubs it a moment thinking about this. You can see that at first there's a lot of objections rising behind his eyes. But as you continue through your explanation, he kind of starts to nod, looking thoughtful. He says, "Well, yeah, I think there's probably one person who I might recommend that about. I wouldn't make that a habit. It's not ultimately good for soldiers to view commanding officers as on their level. You need to remain above and apart from them to maintain command."
Wait a second. I want to fight the strongest.
He just kind of, is blinking and looking a little shocked at the suddenly shouting Dragonborn. I mean, if you, and not the commander, wanted to do it, you could fight as a representative of him, and that would probably look even better.
That's not a bad idea.
If you'd like to fight.
Better not get your ass kicked.
Vendar, you sounded pretty quiet.
My way to eat, I forgot. I said you do like to fight.
I do. I want to see what this army is made of.
And also, real quick, Cyrus also had a question, thinking about how the army plans to completely move and stuff. What was your original plans for movement? Or deployment?
he will, having recovered from Raiken's outburst, is going to, straighten himself up, make himself look more presentable and in control, before locking eyes with you, and saying, "Well, sir, the plan was to use the ships here. We have run the numbers several times, and we have more than enough plank space for all of the soldiers who have come to us at this time. So the plan was to load those vessels as safely and distributedly as possible. There are many in our number who are experienced, even enviable sailors who I do trust with my life on these waters. And we would sail north to the border of the inner coast of Ebengard before marching straight northeast to Watchtower Point. We're estimating that journey, the nautical leg, should take no more than 4 days, though we're estimating 3.5. And the on-land portion, assuming that we've had enough training and people's stamina is what we're calculating with generously, we believe that will take about 8 days.
Okay. And were you moving all troops and abandoning these ships when you do the land march?
We would be leaving them on the coast, but we are not planning to sink them or anything like that.
Or leave them unmanned, or are you going to leave a few manned?
Given the intel that we received from Ebengard up to now, he very much is. You can read in his expression that he wishes he had more up-to-date information. That there has been a lapse in that communication. I do not see a need for these ships through the duration of our engagement with the dragons.
Okay.
Nor a feasible way of doing anything more with them.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I was on the same page.
Yes. Just to expound a little on that, all of the tributaries that connect the inner sea to the seas outside of Emeranta are well out of our way and would require us to sail around large portions of Emeranta to reach Watchtower Point.
Okay.
So how long is the march planned to take? Like the sail and the march?
The sail and the march, I am estimating 12 days, or in the case of inclement weather or difficulty with the army, especially during the march, I'm hoping that we can do it in a fortnight, but it could be as many as 20 days.
And interesting to stop me that we already noticed and I've just forgotten. When was the army planning to set out?
We are planning to march 3 days hence.
I think Laramendus will chime in and say, I'm going to put some thought into what kind of magics we might be able to muster to move people faster.
I think you'll find many of the officers are open to that sort of suggestion. Anything to have our soldiers in as good condition as possible before they engage our enemy.
Yes, they won't be worn down from the journey, plus we can spend longer training and still get there before we were planning to.
Hopefully. As I said, we shall put some thought into what we have at our disposal.
Yes, hopefully.
I can't pretend to know what the battlefield will look like in a month. We are running off of again, intel from Ebengard and word from the magics that Commander Tatsuya had at his disposal, being able to communicate with the gods and their angels, to divine the plans of the dragons. It seemed, according to him, that they wished to remain in their position of... I'm not sure if the word would be power, but they are certainly difficult to get to for anyone in Amaranta. To muster their forces and effectively barricade their elders from the attempts to slay them. If they can, it was believed that they were hoping to lure small groups in to their destruction until Amaranta had no forces powerful enough to take them on, at which point their reign would be unchallenged, which is why we had been gathering the soldiers and the armaments that we had to take them by surprise. The plan is to link up with whatever other armies have clearly, would definitely have taken up this call, though we are not at this moment coordinating with them. And not specifically, anyway. He waits for more questions or, dismissal, and when neither comes, seeming to want more to present his commander.
I will have one more question. That was, so this other army that would possibly meet up, do you know the heads of that army?
Not by name. According to former Commander Tatsuya, we were supposed to follow in the footsteps of the forces being sent by the Empire of the Four Queens. We had word that they would be moving in to set up a perimeter and try and protect areas outside of Watchtower Point from further damage by the dragons. The hope is that they would still be doing that when we arrived, and then we could coordinate at that point. But other than the divination that gave us this, and perhaps communication that Tatsuya had with them, no, I could not tell you who they are.
That's okay. I just wanted to know if you knew anyone so that we have magics to communicate with them if you know them.
I am sorry, Commander, to report that I do not.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your answers.
Of course.
To the voice in the sky, where does Laramentus remember the army from the Empire of the Four Queens being currently in their march?
They, by this point, they had not yet, gotten... By the time you left, they hadn't gotten to Shirakawa, but they were supposed to land on Shirakawa's coast and move through Shirakawa to, reach Ebengard.
Okay.
So, they are... I think the last update you had was from, like, a day ago, and they were, moving past the coastline of Kalavar, which is where Tuka is located.
Mm-hmm. Do I have any estimate from just that about how long I think that it would be taking them to get to Watchtower Point?
I mean, assuming that their boats are roughly the same as these guys, they're going to be at sea at least another 4, perhaps 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're not making a beeline across and instead following the coast to stay in the smoother waters. It's a longer trip, though less dangerous and maybe slightly faster.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I guess Laraminus will say one thing I did want to float to you in terms of the training of people before we head out, either by ship or via magic. I can make an area of the island like it would be in Evangard, which might be useful for people to train in fighting in that kind of environment. Is that something that you have a desire for me to do, or?
There is like a moment of shocked speechlessness as he's listening to you explain this miraculous thing you can do. Like it's the simplest of parlor tricks.
Like, suppose that is fair. Like, if you want, I can make a mile of mountainous cold. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But, like...
And he goes, well, I certainly believe that we couldn't have better training than to simulate the actual environment. And certainly none of the mages that we've had come to us are on that level, Lieutenant. If we could impose upon you, I think that would be incredibly beneficial. Commander Yukikaze, you agree?
I do.
Excellent. The area that I can do is about a mile. Is it in? Let me see if it's diameter or
cube.
A mile square. Yeah, a mile cube. So if there's an area of the island that we want transformed in that manner, I don't know if you or somebody else should point me towards it, but.
To Jebel, he will say, quite simply, we are trying to instill in these people the orderliness of military command structure. It just makes everything about what we're doing here easier if everything is treated in the military's chain of command. It lets them know immediately who to respect. And so, yes, I would call each of you who is not Yukikaze Lieutenants General, and Yukikaze being the commander or a general of this army. We don't represent any one nation, but it just simplifies things. So if you don't mind bearing this rank, it will make things easier for the soldiers you wish to lead.
Makes
It's
perfect
another
sense.
title. It's just another title to add to your long list.
So, I will be, and others will be referring to Yukikaze here as commander, and the rest of you as either lieutenant for short or lieutenant general. In plural, that's lieutenants general. He's going to turn to Vendar. He's going to turn to you, and he's going to look up into your draconic face, and you're going to see his brow knit for a moment, and then he's going to kind of like smirk at you, and he's going to say, I am certain that I never assumed that you would outrank me, little brother.
Never thought I'd be taller than you either.
Well, it is a day of firsts, isn't it, Vendar?
Seems like it.
He's going to reach out a hand towards you.
I'll take it.
And he's going to, as much as he can, wrap his human hand around your dragonborn hand. He's going to squeeze it in a handshake and say, Lieutenant General.
What's his rank?
Captain.
Captain.
And he's going to throw a quick look over his shoulder toward the army, and it seems like there are a few faces here watching you guys, but most of them are pretty distracted with what they're doing, and he's going to just quickly tug on your arm and pull you into like a quick bro hug embrace. Again, as much as he can get his other arm around your body.
Yeah. I will reciprocate.
Whatever you all can do, he says as he, lets go of the embrace, steps back and picks up the helmet he dropped on the ground as he did it. To ensure our victory is, of course, I'm going to say appreciated, but I think you all know how necessary it is.
Yeah, there's no messing this one up.
When it is time to turn in for the evening, we should discuss. And he nods to Thandros, who kind of, folds one arm across her chest, raising the other to her chin, and kind of, narrows her eyes a bit slyly at him. Like, what? He says, the officers do not bivouac with the rest of the army. We were able to, in the early days after Elsament's attack, reconstruct some of the buildings. And there is one large inn that the officers have been using. I encourage you to make use of it as well. I can lead you there at the end of today.
Jebel knows Mirage Arcane. Jebel has it prepared.
So Jebel can do it too.
Yeah.
We can have 2 square miles of
whatever you want.
I'd just add. Oh, and that spell that Armendus was mentioning lasts like 10 days. So pick a suitable spot that you don't mind maybe losing access to for a little while.
I will figure that out with the other officers for the mountain range. Great portions of the city that was here were irreparably damaged in the attack. I'm certain that it would not bother anyone for those to be borrowed for your spell. But we will mark them out and have that done by the end of today.
Excellent. The other thing that I was intending to do would be to speak to whoever is in charge of your wizards, so that I might see what knowledge can be
imparted?
Passed on.
I like imparted.
It's a good word.
Dispersed.
I think that would be very beneficial for them. As I said, many of our magical recruits came from the university only just weeks after they had made it there themselves. A lot of them from places that were hit by dragons, hoping to learn ways to fight. They've been honing whatever they learned there here, but we have a dearth of master wizards, or otherwise magically inclined people. Several clerics came. We were able to impress upon a few temples of Bahamut and Cord to lend us strength, and they were more than willing to do that. There have been some among our recruits who claim magical power from different sources. Some have not been able to demonstrate it, so I can't speak to the exact... what those resources look like, we don't have tabulated in specificity.
Well, I will see what I can do in that respect.
Apologies, Lieutenant General. I will see if I can rectify it before you look in, but if we're to be marking out the location for your spell, that may be a responsibility that falls to you.
I think that is entirely reasonable. It would likely be easier for me to glean what I can from their magical talents or otherwise than a non-magical individual.
Very good, sir. He's going to find Raiken again. And Yukikaze says, Commander, you and Lieutenant General Raiken wish to test one of our stronger recruits.
Indeed.
He's going to smile nervously now, realizing that he's cornering himself with two Dragonborn, who are much more powerful than the other Dragonborn he's been working with recently. You know that a good portion of this army, like a very not insignificant portion of this army, is Dragonborn. Actually, Raiken, quite a lot of those are probably Arcosian. Not that all Dragonborn are from Arcosia, or even all from either Arcosia or the tribes. They do exist elsewhere, but the Arcosian Dragonborn were among the first to fall victim to dragon attack, and so those that weren't killed or left behind on Arcosia would either have been with Tatsuya or would have escaped and found this army.
My Arcosian brothers and sisters.
I have one additional idea for training that could be a bit risky for myself, but is, I think, valuable enough to be worth mentioning.
Thandros looks worried, but nods that you continue.
But, like, and I will need the group's input on this because I haven't brought this up before. If we were to make that Mirage Arcane, make the terrain that we need to train troops in, we could consider using Wish to try and make, I guess the best way to put it is, make the attacks within that area illusionary. That way for people to actually swing with full force, perhaps actually train against Dragonfire, but not get hurt in the process.
Use Wish to turn Mirage Arcane into a holodeck.
I guess kind of, yeah, but like a way where they could actually fight a dragon that's not having to hold back the things they can't do non-lethally, and not die.
The training dragon turning back into a boulder when somebody scores a lethal hit against it is probably not terribly dangerous. Maybe. I
can do it to a big stick.
Well, I'm not as worried about, you don't want a dragon to use its dragon breath, because that's going to get a lot of people killed, but that's also what they need to practice against.
Illusory dragon breath. Lightning bolts, fire blasts.
That wish sounds...
Like I said, this, I have not thought through the details, but it is something that might be worth discussing amongst us, at least figure out what the costs and benefits might be.
I think we should begin on the assumption that that's not the case, but we should discuss it.
Lieutenants General?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I be dismissed with the Commander and Lieutenant General Raiken to see to things I actually understand? I don't feel comfortable in a discussion about such powerful magic.
Guess so.
Out of character, has he told me either who I should go and find magically or how I should go and find them?
Or
Or-
we're gonna say yes.
Okay, cool. Then Larmness is no reason to hold him.
Commander, Lieutenant General Raiken.
Onward.
Lead the way.
He will salute to the Lieutenants General and, turn on his heel and begin marching back toward the army with Raiken and Yukikaze in tow. Let these magical people discuss magical stuff.
Hey, Raiken's magical.
I'm not a magical people.
You are magically a dragon.
Wasn't my magic though.
Anyway, so if you want me to give you guys a break from the magical discussion, I can quickly run through the description of the martial guys doing stuff, or we can let you, I've pulled them away so that Thandros was getting very uncomfortable with these discussions of extremely powerful magic that he has no comprehension of. So you can continue to discuss, and I'll talk about their dealing with the soldiers afterward, but I just want to know how you wanted to handle it. Like, I don't want to break your train of thought if you want to really have this out, but I can if you wanted a few minutes to think about it.
I think I want to think about it.
Okay. Feel free to communicate via text while I do some quick stuff with the martial people, just so that you have a starting point when we come back to you. So, as for you Martial folks, is a little bit of back and forth between you and me about things cinematically going to be good for you, Raiken, or do you really want me to, roll up a combat for you? Because one-on-one combats can be a little lackluster.
Yeah, no, just run through it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be anything major.
Cool. Alright, so Thandros is going to lead the two of you across the field toward the army, and you're going to see, as you're approaching, more and more of the soldiers who are training there are going to kind of, slow and stop in whatever drills and sparrings they're running as they see the two Dragonborn following Thandros, and, recognize the new commander and one of the lieutenants general. And as you get close to one of the groups, all of the people in that group, straighten up and salute as a commanding officer, as an officer that outranks them at all, is entering their midst. And as you get there, Thandros is going to address him. He's going to try and get his voice to carry as far as possible, because he knows there are other groups that he's not directly amongst who are also going to be listening and kind of watching, in a lot of cases eagerly to see how this goes. But he's going to say, I want to congratulate all of the soldiers here on excellent work as you've been improving yourselves and making Bahamut proud in the weeks that you have spent with us here on Stormreef Isle. And to that end, our new commander, Yukikaze, does wish to view the fruits of your labors with his own eyes. And he has offered his Lieutenant General Raiken to be his hands and his eyes in this. I have told him that many of you are willing and getting up to speed on where we need to be against the dragons, and so I invite our, not to disparage anyone's work, but our most advanced pupil of war, and he's going to indicate a half-giant who kind of, smiles broadly, tusks glinting in the early light, who kind of, steps forward and salutes. And, he, you kind of see Thandros turn to you, and, he seems quite pleased. He says, "This is Bash. He has definitely shown the most promise and the fastest uptake of everything that we have been training while we've been here, Commander. And so, Bash, you will represent our army's progress to our new commanding officer. So please make all of us proud, and please meet Lieutenant General Raiken. Why don't you tell this group a little bit about yourself so that Bash can understand who he's performing for?"
Well, I am Raiken of House Lumos from Arcosia.
A lot of the Dragonborn in the group around you are going to, salute in give the Arcosian salute, and many are going to kind of cheer, and a lot more, further out, you're going to see murmurings and mumblings, people, leaning in to gossip about this, though you don't know what's being said.
Yes, I am the brother of former Commander Tatsuya Lumos. I am also the champion of Cord. And I'm not sure. I'm trying to decide if he actually has the armor already on, or if he doesn't have the armor on.
I mean, anime rules of cool. Do you want to put it on in front of them?
Yeah, that's, I think, what I'm leaning towards.
Okay. So you are currently unarmored. You're wearing, very comfortable looking, slightly padded silk clothing. How do you carry yourself when you're not in armor? Do you always kind of have the air of a soldier, or are you a little bit more laid back? How should we think of Raiken when he is attired this way?
I mean, it doesn't matter what he's attired. He always has this kind of beefy, puffed out chest, kind of bravado, that he always shows no matter what he's wearing.
Gotcha. Alright, so he carries himself fairly straight back and is always showing off what he's working with.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And so after he says, yes, I'm the champion of Cord. Here, let me show you. And he will then kind of reach up into the air, and he will incant Follows Y'all Nessel Gungnir Tron.
You incant the song that summons the armor, and immediately, even all the way back at the mage discussion, you notice as a light that kind of puts the still gathering morning sun to shame here suddenly glints out and catches your attention, and then is a bit blinding as this pillar of white divine energy seems to cascade down to the ground from the heavens and engulf Raiken as he performs his militaristic kata with each swing of a fist or raising of a knee. Another piece of plate armor appears on his body until finally he is fully clad, seemingly floating about an inch off the ground, very surrealistically, before the light fades out, and he seems to now just be standing on the ground like nothing strange happened, assuming a fighting posture, fully armored. And around you, Raiken, everybody, there are people shielding their eyes, there are people who were shielding their eyes, who have removed their hands, who are just looking on in awe and shock, seeing this display of powerful and ancient magic. And you can hear the murmurs of the crowd around you, lots of wows and how do you do that? What is that? But also a lot of chord, not Bahamut. Oh yeah, chord. It's actually you can kind of hear people being like, yeah, that's a thing on Arcosia. We know that.
Yes, chord, not Bahamut. I leave Bahamut to the commander.
You just hear, there's, a moment of silence that rings out after you say the commander, and then just this little voice from somewhere unknown in the crowd going, Tatsuya?
No, Yuki Kaze.
But why not Tatsuya?
God damn it.
Where's Tatsuya?
Jesus Christ. Are you living under a rock? The Lord Almighty.
You can see around you, there are some people that kind of get that thoughtful expression, they're kind of wondering that same thing, yeah, wait, what about Tatsuya? But there are several others, closer in that are just sort of, face-palming and shaking their heads oh, this guy. The voice, eventually stops questioning. You can kind of see, a little bit of a disturbance, kind of, over off to the right a little bit, and, many rows of rings of people back, where you think perhaps a couple people have, convinced him that now's not the time.
Well, moving on. I am here to test the strength of this army. Who here is considered the strongest?
Both Thandros and the half-giant in front of you are both kind of, they both kind of, look around a little bit confused,
I forgot that he said that he announced
it. And then the half-giant, points at himself, me, right? It's me you wanted to fight. Bash, remember?
Sorry, the commotion got me confused.
Armor of Core doesn't come with the helmet, so...
What do you mean? It does have a helmet.
Maybe you should use it.
Alright. Are you ready to take me on?
He's gonna kind of you see him sort of roll his shoulders, kind of shake his body out a little bit, little dancey with the feet, and he reaches over and somebody, you kind of see a smaller human go, and then he hoists this large two-handed axe into his hands, and he just takes it like it's any normal-sized sword from the guy. He goes, yes, Lieutenant General, I believe. Raiken, they said.
Indeed.
I am Bash, and I will represent this army of Bahamut.
Well, Bash, let's see what you've got. Come at me!
And you just see that broad, betusked smile spread across his large, greenish face as he lowers himself down into a sprinting position and crosses the ground between you, the probably 30 feet in 4 strides. This guy, as he approaches you, you realize is bigger than you.
Yep, half giant.
And you can still see, like, he's pressed a helmet over his brow, but you still see that tusky smile as he twists his body, raising the axe in both hands above his head, and just right before he brings down, you just hear him say, just so you can hear it, "Here I come."
As he's bringing it down, Raiken will bring his shield up.
Ho ho ho! The axe is going to connect with the shield as you redirect it. A spray of poison is going to emit, and you see him like recoil as it gets on his face and into his eyes. Ah! Clever, tricky! As he tries to recover. You
must be. Oh, go ahead.
You have the ability to take advantage of his distraction.
All
but
right.
you can instead goad him if you want.
Raiken will instead provide insight, saying that in battle with some of these dragons, they deal with poison. You must watch out, just like I just gave you the poison here.
You can kind of imagine, like, several around you, like, taking out little notepads and writing that poison avoid.
Yes, green dragons, they will use poison.
As you switch into lecture mode, Bash is going to finally, with his one free hand, he's going to get enough of the poison out of his eyes. I will make the army proud, and you can see that he recovers himself and totters towards you, still a little bit affected by it, going for a backhand swing with the axe, coming in low towards your center of mass.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna say Raiken was too busy teaching the group that he doesn't quite react fast enough.
I love it. So the axe is going to catch you around the midsection. You're going to see the plates of Cord's armor kind of ripple as they try to distribute the blow, but several of them take this temporary damage, and you can feel the blade bite through as you see several droplets of your own blood are tossed into the air in the arc of his axe. As he, breathes heavily and tries to round on his heel to ready himself for another attack, bringing up the haft defensively.
That was a good shot. I can see why you are considered the strongest, Bash.
A good soldier is only as strong as the soldiers around him.
Well, now it's my turn. Raiken will kind of shake off the pain in his side, and he will charge at Bash with his battle axe held high and bring it down with not all of his strength, but he's definitely not really reserving much. Down onto Bash when he gets into range.
Bash is going to raise the two-handed axe, catching your axe on the haft of his so that the hook of your blade latches around it. And you can see he's strong. He may even be stronger than you, but that poison has had an effect on him. So even though he manages to catch it, it's a little clumsy. And he as he absorbs the impact, your body weight coming at him, he brings his elbows in, and the blade comes and just bites through the leather gorget around his neck, and you see a trickle of blood begin running down his breastplate. Well swung, Lieutenant General! As he rears back and thrusts both arms forward to try and push you away, dragging his axe down to unhook it from yours in the same movement. He then lashes out with a large foot, aiming it for your leg as you're recoiling away from him.
Raiken will jump and dodge this.
Very nice.
This maneuver.
Being thrown a little bit off balance by not connecting with you, you see him take a wide step and slam that foot to the ground, trying to catch himself, putting his back to you.
You are much quicker than your size suggests, Bash.
Many opponents have told me that, he says without, turning towards you, before they died.
I love it. Now, let's see if you can take... Wait. Out of character. What chromatic dragon does lightning?
The chromatic dragons? That's blue.
Damn it, we're not fighting blue.
I mean, aren't you?
Okay.
As far as this army knows, they are.
True.
Alcemanthe and his blue dragons are supposedly going to be there. They wouldn't want to tip their hand to the other dragons.
Then Raiken, with a bit of distance between them now, he will say, let's see if you can take on a blue dragon's attack. And he'll kind of dig his feet down into the ground, and he'll open up his mouth, and this sparking electricity appears as he shouts, "Ryu no Hoko!" and blows a line of electricity towards Bash.
As you were announcing, let's see if you can handle this, he's recovered at that point, so he begins to turn towards you, and you can see that spark, that glow within your mouth, reflected in his eyes as they open wide, seeing this attack coming at him. And as your blinding flash of lightning arcs across the place toward him, you see him tumble to the side, but he is not quite quick enough, as you see one of the branching forks of your lightning lashes out and seems to just catch the blade of his axe as he tumbles away. You see it arc down through his hand, and you can see even during his tumble as jumps of arcs of electricity are connecting him to the ground as he tumbles through this movement, and he lands splayed out on the ground and groaning, a bit of smoke rising off of him. At that point, the groaning goes on long enough that Thandros is going to look around and say, an excellent performance by our best Bash. He's going to signal, and several other soldiers are going to move in. They're going to poke him with the hafts of wooden weapons to make sure that he's not still going to arc onto them before they get 3 people to get their arms under him and kind of hoist him as much up off the ground as they can.
This is actual damage, like health damage, even though it was played out, right?
Yes. Like, nothing lethal, but yeah, he's injured.
I'll be say that was really good. That was great. Raiken, why don't you still got a couple spell slots left? Why don't you heal him a little?
Why use spell slots when I can use my lay on hand?
Well, that thing.
Yes, Commander Yukikaze. I was indeed going to use my lay on hands to help him recover for such a fine performance. And he will walk over to the Bash and the ones holding him up, and he will lay on hands. How much would you say, Tristan, would be a good amount to help him recover?
To fully heal him, probably 15.
Okay. Then Raiken will do that.
You guys got just a couple good hits in, so I'm thinking about 15 from 1 or 2 good hits.
All right. Raiken's light from his hands. He will touch Bash, and the glow will fall over Bash as he heals.
As the light moves over him, closing his wounds and healing his muscles, you are going to see that the jitter from the electricity making his hands unsteady smooths out, and he's going to kind of give you this slightly pained grin, still wincing with one eye closed as he leans on the others, and he opens his mouth and a bit of smoke pours from him between his lips, and he says, "You fight very well, Lieutenant General. It is going to be an honor to serve you."
Thank you, Bash. It will be an honor to lead you all into battle. I can tell this army is strong, and we will be victorious.
Feeling a lot better since the lay on hands, he'll kind of, slowly push himself up to a full standing height, getting off of the soldiers who had hoisted him off the ground, and he will, raise one giant gray fist into the air, and he'll say, "Commander Yukikaze, champion of Bahamut, and his lieutenants general, we are lucky to be trained by them and led. I'm going to lie down."
Yes, please rest. You have earned it.
And at this, many of the students of war here are going to, this all happened very fast, so there are still some of them who are like, "What?" We're expected to do that, but many others are, just very much, swept up in the energy of this fight, and jumping up and down, clapping like, "That was amazing! I can't wait till it's my turn!"
I imagine it's a lot of the Cord crowd.
Yes. There are a few followers of Cord here, though you do notice that just about everyone is wearing a uniform is the best description for it. It's very much like not some officially mass-produced articles of clothing. Like, these are kind of they were made possibly even by the people wearing them, and they're all made to look roughly the same, similar, different shades of fabrics. Some cuts aren't as clean, but they all bear an interpretation of the silver dragon head of Bahamut. I'll remind you that this is the army of Bahamut, and they were following very specifically a champion of Bahamut to do Bahamut's will. So while other gods are represented, in the largest demographic here is people doing this in the name of Bahamut. But I did tell you earlier, there are clerics of Kord here, and them especially... you can kind of see them, like, now that your fight is over, you can see in their eyes they're waiting for that moment that they can make their way through the crowd and talk to you more privately. You recognize that look. It's that same look that every cleric in a temple of Kord has given the moment you either showed them the armor or declared yourself the champion. That slightly skeptical, but let me check.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Raiken enjoys that look.
It can't really be true. I must talk to him myself and find out. So yeah, I would say that that was a very good display. Thank you for running through that. And this crowd is very much like showing a great deal of support for you through this, Yukikaze, so this was a great idea. Just to make sure credit goes where it's due. Alright. And things like that, there's going to be a lot more of this. Yuki, she'll be encouraging people, inspiring leader, on these groups, while the magic group does their talk. Is that what you are hoping for?
Well, yeah, it was more just also to show, like, see how strong they were and show the army our strength so that they know.
Yeah. I would tell you that you can tell from watching this that they've been training well, but they're nowhere near the level of a 20th level adventurer. Like, these guys are, maybe 8th level, fighters.
It's okay.
Like, that 15 health was a significant portion, of his HP. Much more significant for him than for Yukikaze, than for Raiken, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Raiken and I will just be here for a little bit longer. Kind of utilizing this energy that they got going.
Yeah. And Raiken, you took like 8 damage from his hit. It's not magical, okay. So you took 5.
It's alright. Yeah, I'm not gonna heal it. When I short rested, I healed some of my damage that I had taken, but I wasn't even at full health anyways, so I'm not even gonna bother with healing again.
You are bleeding all over the place, so
yes. I was down to like 50 some odd damage, and I healed 92 of it in the short rest. So I was like, I have 140 right now, so I'm
So I guess now I can shift to the magic users.
Yes.
Is the cat already taken care of, Sam?
Yep, I just got back.
Ooh, perfect.
Perfect timing.
So, a wish to make it so anything that happens in a Mirage Arcane is non-lethal.
Yes, or at least something along that effect.
I would like to make an Arcana check with the knowledge. So one of the things listed for Wish is you allow up to 20 creatures you can see regain all hit points, and you end all effects on them described in the Greater Restoration spell. So that seems the most like similar of any of the like listed Wish abilities to that, and 20 is considerably less than the number of people who would be impacted by this. So, with that information, I'd like to make an Arcana check.
Okay.
I can find a d20. That is a 23. Because I rolled a 3.
And to clarify my intentions a little bit before, and the idea is to make it to be of the area of the terrain for like as long as that.
Yeah,
mirage
for
is
like
in
the
effect.
Mirage Arcane for that spell. Actually, Ermindus does not like rolling low on Arcana stuff. I'm going to use the inspiration that I have.
Okay. I do apologize
That-
because I was fighting with a web page while you were describing things, so I feel like I missed my action item on this.
So I am rolling. I got a 35 on my Arcana now.
Okay, that's
about
grand.
the ramifications or the potential fallout
Uh-huh.
of a wish in this vein. Of basically, we have a Mirage Arcane spell, and to make it so, I think in my mind the better thing for it would probably be that if somebody goes to 0 hit points, they are expelled from the Mirage Arcane at 1. So that way it's still actually dangerous in there,
Okay.
and they are used to what it feels like to be fighting.
Okay. And you
And
want...
the in the one of the like listed things with the wish spell as one of the alternate effects is 20 creatures you can see regain all hit points and are healed of anything that Greater Restoration can heal, which seems the closest to basically turning this Mirage Arcane into a holodeck as possible.
Yes,
But like
that's
20 is considerably less than
3,000.
this.
Yes. You're also, like, not just wishing for a bunch of people to be healed, you're wishing to very specifically alter the effects of a known spell to match this thing you want to simulate. So, what you are asking for is quite powerful. But
Yeah.
let's see if we can't impart some limitations on this. You want it to just affect this casting of this spell.
Yes.
As opposed to, altering the fabric of the world so that all Mirage Arcane spells function this way.
Yeah, no, I think that is not what we want with this particular wish.
And you want it to end when this Mirage Arcane ends.
Yes.
Okay. I would say that with a 35 on Arcana, and never having done anything like this with Wish before, that you, as a scholar of magic, can expect at a minimum that you will suffer the consequences of casting a non-copy Wish, and that there is, given that you have limited the scope of this to affect a single casting of a single spell and exist only within the duration of that spell, that actually is the double-edged sword of, like, you aren't affecting the whole world, so it's less powerful, but you are actually restricting it and saying, I really just want to do it this once right here and not hurt anything else, so that's also making it more powerful. So that kind of balances. You can expect, or you feel you could expect at a minimum, that there will be some sort of world-shaping effect felt localized to an area this size. It may not be the one you're standing on. It may be the one you're standing on, and it would probably be something like a sinkhole is formed, and is forevermore present there as this cavity is removed in the crust of Amaranta here to reflect the power of the magic that you're doing. It's taken as a cost, in essence. I would expect something like that. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, it may also have effects on organisms, very likely to be local to the spell's area. So while these men wouldn't be killed, they may be drained and suffer several levels of exhaustion.
Well, you did want to be a dentist. Now you have a chance to remove a cavity.
I would say that's what a 35 on Arcana and never having attempted something like this before would give you a warning about.
Yeah, and there's also not a lot of literature on the wish spell, just because so few people can cast it, I imagine.
Yeah, throughout history, maybe 100 people that would have any record of them.
Yeah.
More than that, in the whole history of the world, but
yeah,
but powerful.
Like people having recorded, experiments. So Laramendus will convey his expectations on a wish of that nature to Magic Group and Vendar. If Vendar's here, I don't know if I stepped away and then Vendar left.
Magic Group and Vendar.
Yep, Magic Group and Vendar. Well, we need to talk about how to get my shit back.
Oh, that is true. We do also need to do that. I mean, there is a lot of land, so that if you are throwing a dart at a 1 square mile area, the odds of it being truly catastrophic are low.
But not zero.
But not zero.
I like that he's just surrounded by platinum coins.
So many platinum coins. And even more, because they made it so I could add in a second thing to my base. So I added another bag of platinum.
It's like, this is where I'd put my platinum coins. If I had my shit!
He added another bag of platinum coins, but he didn't add a ferret.
I still can't add ferrets. There's no ferret.
Is there a squirrel? Can you ferret color a squirrel?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know that I'm comfortable with this wish.
Yeah, I'm not sure I am either.
Saving wish to get my shit back.
We will get to that in a moment. Since the both of us aren't convinced that we should do this, I think that we should not, and they will have to use the training area for more mundane training purposes.
Indeed.
Okay. I do think that it was a good idea, as it would be the most helpful for their work, but alas. Vendar, getting your equipment back.
Yeah.
So I know we had talked about this before. I don't remember if I had rolled Arcana about wishes. Basically, my thought of the least likely to cause a problem wish for it would basically be Simulacrum Laramendus. Simulacrum Laramendus gets plane shift. We want to plane shift Simulacrum Laramendus to the astral plane. We want to have Simulacrum Laramendus wish to be in possession of ideally a subset of Vendar's ship. And then plane shift back. So the wish is the wish to acquire the gear is on the plane that those things are. So hopefully, worst case scenario would be Simulacrum Laramendus and all of the stuff appear at the location of the most dangerous thing, like the thing that is in the most dangerous location, and then can plane shift back before anything is the wiser. That would be the ideal situation, I think, for Simulacrum Laramendus.
The wish is to generate a Simulacrum Laramendus who already has all the stuff?
No. So we create Simulacrum Laramendus here.
Yeah.
That Simulacrum Laramendus, I think, real Laramendus Prime wishes for plane shift to get Simulacrum Laramendus into the Astral Sea.
Then Simulacrum
Laramendus
just wishes to have all the shit.
To be in possession of Vendar's shit. Simulacrum Laramendus plane shifts back to here.
Okay.
Cyrus.
Can you plane shift another target? Don't you have to be part of what goes?
Probably, but so I guess in that case, go ahead, Leah.
I believe it can. Yeah, I believe it's kind of like a banish that way. So it works a little differently. Let's see.
It's a willing banishment.
Yeah, you can use this spell to banish an unwilling creature to another plane. Choose a creature within the reach and make a melee spell attack against it. On a hit, the creature must take a charisma saving throw. It's transported to a random location on the plane of existence you specify.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've definitely used plane shift offensively in the past.
But the alternatives to that are Laramendus can wish for plane shift for him and Simulacrum Laramendus. Laramendus can demi-plane and then get demi-planed back by Cyrus. We can even if we weren't going to shove Simulacrum Laramendus into some random location on the Astral Sea.
So whatever this is, it's going to require you to legitimately cast Simulacrum, or it's going to require my wish. Neither of which I think can happen today.
I also don't have plane shift prepared today. Actually, I don't need plane shift prepared, but I don't have the spells to do this today either.
And because of your 35 check about wishing, you do know that there would be repercussions for the wish to have all of Vendar's shit. It's hard to know what the exact effects will be, because you know on a certain philosophical level that the cost of the spell is in some way proportional to the work that would have needed to be done to achieve it in a mundane way. So somebody doing some BS arcane math and saying, well, somebody going to the Astral Sea and using a bunch of detect spells or divination to figure out where the things are, traveling to their locations to gather them, and then traveling back through a set of their spells is going to be somehow calculated into whatever the not rebound, but the fallout of this wish would be. And so the more things, or the like, the more work that would need to be done mundanely to accomplish it, the like, more tangible the effects of the wish, which is why, like, wishing to turn the Mirage Arcane into holodeck with non-lethal precautions set in had this tangible effect, like creating a sinkhole somewhere in the world.
Yeah, we made a holodeck, so we made a hollow deck.
Yeah, and it is, given what limited literature you have had access to about this, there's definitely some sense of humor to it. Whatever math is being done, whatever divine entity force is balancing this scale, Garl Glitter Gold.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get that sense from the writings. You also notice that there is an intelligence to it. You know, you're not the first person to think, what if I create a simulacrum of myself and have the simulacrum eat all the consequences of doing this? This has been done. It has definitely helped to mitigate some of the fallout to the initial caster, but there does seem to be, at least in the recorded ones, some intelligence to the scale balancer that they go, no, I see what you did there. And they don't focus everything on the simulacrum. There's always something felt by the original caster, while it may not be the full effect. Never is, actually. It's not, you don't get to cheat it to that extent. Somebody's watching you shuffle the deck. I'm going, okay. You know, I respect the hustle. You know, I'll give you a little bit of a wink and a nod here. But you know, I'm also gonna elbow you as you go through the door.
Yeah. So, I guess my question is, what kind of impact should Laramendas expect for himself? And I say the local area, he intends to be in a demiplane when the wish is cast. So, like, the local area isn't really a thing that can get damaged.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, for yourself, depending on, you know, exactly how far you have tried to remove yourself from things, you know, it could be as simple as you still suffer the effects, you yourself still suffer the effects of having cast an uncopy wish.
Including the ability to lose wish? Or just the damage and the inability to cast spells and all of that?
I would say that you expect at least that second portion. It's, again, nobody has lost the ability to cast wish doing it this way in the recordings that you have, but it never seems like it's off the table. It hasn't happened. But there have been those who still suffered the other effects. There were ones where the simulacrum, you know, was the cost of casting this. Like, the simulacrum exploded. Which could be detrimental to your other goals.
Yeah, of it being able to then cast plane shift.
Yeah. There is one instance of the simulacrum and the original caster swapping identities, though that one is a matter of philosophical conjecture, because no one could prove that the person who was still there at the end was in fact the simulacrum. But that one sounds terrifying, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. The simulacrum gains the ability to learn, switches, places and everything with the original caster. But,
Nobody else might be able to really know, but imagine what that original caster is experiencing as they stop existing. Nothing. The answer is nothing.
they have stopped existing. Okay.
So, you can do that, but the bigger you go, the more likely something nasty might still bounce back at you through the simulacrum.
Yeah. So, again, Laramidus will share all of this with everyone, and to Vandar say, can you make a list of what you had in your possession that is the most important for you to have?
Yeah, I'll make a list.
Because things like platinum pieces are not important.
I had a fair amount of platinum pieces.
We can acquire you more platinum.
Yeah, I acquired it by selling residuum, so it sucks, but...
That is unfortunate. Out of character. Now I'm picturing somebody wishing for residuum and then them just showing up with the hand in my pocket. And being like, I can explain.
Like, you lose a hand.
I guess with my wish-related Arcana roll, does Laramendis think that there is a better scheme than the one that I have put forth?
I mean, it's certainly the shortest distance between 2 points.
Yeah.
That simulacrum could explode. But that won't hurt
might
you.
get
It just might do bad things to Vendar's stuff.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if the
Not
wish
that it will
does...
explode. It's just not
Yeah.
off the table.
But I'm saying, like, if the wish goes up so that all of the stuff is in one place, and let's say the simulacrum explodes,
Yeah.
as long as his stuff, is able to withstand, like I guess how catastrophic does the simulacrum? Does it just like fall apart? Does it fireball itself? Like,
I mean, if it
like,
just
if his equipment can stay there, then it's fine if the simulacrum dies, because then if we do this again, there's less work for the wish to replicate because all the stuff is in one place.
Yeah.
I mean, if it explodes, that would be bad, seeing as there is on the list are 3 vials of nitroglycerin.
Are those strictly necessary?
They're incredibly important. I would put the only thing more important than them is the Guinator. And my purple worm poison, maybe. I guess I get more of that.
So you can get more purple worm poison because I can shape change into a purple worm. Or we can have a simulacrum wish for a 25,000 gold pieces vial of purple worm poison. So I would say the purple worm poison is not as necessary. And actually, how much did you pay for the nitroglycerin?
How much did I pay for the nitroglycerin? It was like 150 plat for the 5 vials.
Yeah, I don't remember it all, but that could be correct. Three ingots does not sound unreasonable.
It was something. I may have talked him down to like 120.
Yeah.
We can.
I'd have to go back to the recording to know the exact number.
We can probably just
wish
for that too. Because again, 25,000 gold.
You can just wish for more nitroglycerin.
I think.
Even though we don't know how it's made or anything. You wouldn't even need more. You wouldn't even need
Is it
like
magic?
No, I don't think it's magic.
Then I think that we can. I guess to the voice in the sky, you create one object of up to 25,000 gold pieces in value that isn't a magic item. The object can be no more than 300 feet in any dimension, and it appears in an unoccupied space you can see on the ground.
Well,
so like we can
of nitroglycerin for me.
Potions of healing are considered magic.
What is the momentum of the pairing?
It doesn't appear. You create it from nothing.
Okay.
Like it's just there. Like it was not there and it is there.
Because it would be kind of fortunate if it appears like a feet off the ground and then just rockets down.
This is one of the like listed effects of Wish,
Velocity
And
is
so
conserved when teleporting.
but it's not something that's teleporting.
No, I know. It's also not true. We don't run conservation of
Yeah.
energy with teleportation.
But yeah, so like that's one of the stated things that Wish can do. So is
Yeah,
less
I
likely to
get
have really I'm talking to everyone else. So it's less likely to have dangerous repercussions.
If we can find literature that specifically identifies alchemical concoctions or decoctions as being separate from magic items, then I would say you could 100% do it.
Okay. So
There's always a magical way to interpret any effect being created by these things. That's why I say that, Derek.
Yep. No, you're good. I was just like, I thought something that might be an example. I remembered one more piece I went with him. Like, yeah, that probably doesn't count. So.
Yeah, but like if you can, if it's written anywhere, just like specifically, and I'll check like whatever Reddit
So
and shit.
I pulled up Alchemist's Fire because I feel like that's probably a reasonable approximation.
Sure.
Which does not say that it is magical. It doesn't say that it's non-magical.
Yeah.
My best argument for this is whether it's on the equipment or the magic item page on D&D Beyond.
I mean, if you can
Because
just
like Alchemist Fire is on the equipment page, but you won't find healing potions.
Yeah. I know.
yeah, because if you can just make more nitroglycerin and purple worm poison for me, then the only thing I really need is the Guanator. Like we can even get Nalia to make me more.
I was gonna say, how
Potion.
difficult would it be to get someone to just make a new Guanator?
I mean, I guess I could get another one commissioned, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, that one has the grease marks from his palms on it.
Yeah, and poison in it, and like memories attached to it.
So I think getting a single bow with this scheme of plane shifting and wishing
Yep.
is probably going to be acceptable.
It's infinitely safer than trying to get everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I got some poisons that I don't really ever use that I can get, but I can live without. And then the purple worm poison, I can get more of. Nitroglycerin, apparently, we can get more.
Yukaze dropped from the channel.
Did go to AFK?
Yeah.
The grenades and the goo bombs, I should be able to get more of or make more of if I have the components. And
Buddy.
then there's the bowstring. The bowstrings. Also, apparently, I had a box of communication. I forgot we even had.
Oh, you had one of the radios?
I had one of the radios. The radio locked in the.
You pull out the one you have, and you just have static in it.
Oh yeah, and then one of the
you
other
pull out
thing
one, and then you hear a voice, and you're just like, nope. You just throw it.
and then I'd like my golden lockpicks, but if it's also it didn't cost much residuum to have Nalia make it, nor did it take much time or take much effort to have Nalia make one of those. So you probably just have another one, have her make another set of golden lockpicks for me.
Okay. Have you written the things down?
Was I supposed to do that now?
No, not you.
I know.
I
was teasing Vendor.
Okay.
Okay. So, you have some thoughts on this. Am I correct in remembering that none of them can be put into place until tomorrow anyway?
That is correct. I do not have the spell slots to do this now.
Okay. And so for the rest of the day, you would all like to impart your knowledge and experience to the soldiers here?
Yes, so Laramentis would want to seek out the magical people and
Yep.
start having that discussion.
You have the necessary information to do that from Thandros. I know that Yuki and Raiken are over there already doing their part, which is helping Yuki raise his standing with these people.
Hey, like, it would be all my money too, and there's 153 platinum.
Not a small amount.
I will remind you that we're 7 20th level adventurers, four of which, let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah, four of which are 20th level casters.
Like we sold residuum so that I would go back up to 150 after spending like 150 platinum in Daigo Selphis. And now I just lost another 150 platinum. Just thrown it in the trash.
You didn't throw it in the trash, you threw it in the astral plane. Somebody there might find it.
And it's even worse.
I was gonna say, the astral sea is much worse place to throw it.
Some angel is like, "Oh, score!" and snorts it.
So, some entity finds it and then casts teleport with it as a focus.
Oh, yes. It's going to be a good day. This was deleted by a moderator. Oh. Thank you, Alex.
I need to get more arrows now, too. And I need to get another bag of holding.
You have a bag of holding.
Have we been allowed to open that one yet? As far as I've been known,
No.
we haven't opened it yet.
Well, actually, who is in possession of it?
Jebel last time.
Jebel was in possession of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then no. I cannot open it.
My spyglass and my special map.
Wait, no. Do I? I might have the spyglass.
You might actually.
Do you have the spyglass, or do you give it
spyglass?
back to him whenever you're not casting your spell?
I mean,
He's pretty
I
possessive.
want to say that
I know that he's pretty possessive of it, but he lets you use it to cast your little spell.
I guess that's on top of the list behind Guinators.
Alright, Leah, by this point you've had enough time to cast your spell and bring back Lorelei, as they've all been discussing magic. So, Lorelei reappears, and, looks you up and down. Yeah, she kind of, like, starts off with, like, her back to you as she looks around where you are. Kind of like seeming to like take it all in and go, okay, I think I recognize this place. And she turns towards you and like raises a finger like she's gonna start talking, and then just like stops.
Yeah, at this point she's in autumn, so because having rested, I think peace is a nice.
Right, and that's the regular blonde hair, right?
No, that is
Pull it up.
the color of autumn tree amber.
Right. So yes, definitely very noticeable. And so she looks like she's about to say something, and she just sort of stops, and she's like taking in all of your features. Says, "What happened?"
I was hoping you would be able to explain that.
I mean, I have thoughts, but no one told me this would happen. She like kind of like reaches out to grab a lock of your hair and like make sure it's not a wig.
Ouch. It was strange. It was like all sort of seasonal, like dust and leaves and like just swallowed me up and poof.
And poof. And now you're more elven than you were before. More fey, perhaps.
Yeah, I also like seem to change like Nalia does. So
Oh.
Kinda like an Eladrin, but my eyes look the same.
Well, like I said, I have guesses, but Zen didn't tell me this was going to occur. I think
Didn't
it's
tell me
because of...
either.
Huh?
It didn't tell me either. At this point, she actually changed to summer. So now it's like... is it teal?
Tropical seawater.
So I kind of like teal.
I gotcha. Very interesting color for hair to go. I like it. Extremely unnatural.
Well, yeah, I chose specific, very unnatural colors.
Yeah.
So, like pink, teal, and orangey.
Yeah.
So,
Is she kind of like, she's flying, but she takes, a step back, as you lash out verbally this way, and she says, "It's possible he didn't know. I mean, he's never had a warlock before, and certainly never one that achieved as much power, drew as much power from him as you did."
yes, that's true, but this is a lot. I wonder what else I can do. Like, do I have some new magic?
Only one way to find out. I mean, what do you feel? How do you feel? Like, you seem upset that you weren't told, but, is this bad?
No.
You had expressed interest in Dahlia's seasonal changes before, and now you kind of have your own version of it. Like, I want to say that I don't know you that well, but honestly, we've spent a lot of time together, so I imagine that that's gotta be not terribly upsetting to you.
She gets like a sparkle realization in her eyes, and her hair changed to pink.
So, if Zin knew, we'll ask, we'll talk to him, but, neither I nor you knew this was happening. Let's just imagine nobody did and go from there.
You're right, this is kind of what I wanted. And now I'm tempted to try out things.
Zin isn't like other Archfey. He wasn't made the same way. Maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, I don't see him as more powerful than other Archfey. In fact, quite the opposite currently, though he is gaining power quickly. So, maybe it has nothing to do with him at all. Maybe it has everything to do with your desires.
Maybe.
Well,
She's up on her feet now and like looks around, like tries to feel.
Yeah, search your heart. Roll Arcana. Do you feel new magic in you?
If anything, I feel like I'm more aware. Like I'm more, like. Is it safe to say connected to nature?
I feel pretty connected to nature. I feel pretty connected to you, but like I said, you summoned me.
That makes sense. Arcana. Let's see this. Yeah, that's 21.
21. Yeah, you definitely feel like a little hum within you. You know, where you usually find that source of power from Zen, but it there's something else there now. There's definitely another well of very slightly different power alongside it, and you feel like you can focus on that and tap it the same way you tap Zint's power.
You're gonna try it.
Yeah, you imagine yourself reaching into this well and scooping out a handful of glowing water in your mind's eye. This is what you see. And as you do, you can feel this power welling in you, almost like carrying you aloft. You can kind of imagine being, I would say, closer to your dad. And when you return to yourself, when you leave this mental space, this imagining of literally pulling water out of another well of power, you find that you are not next to the rest of the party anymore. That you have traveled some distance toward your father, and that let's see, that around your feet in the grass, it has grown long and the flowers are blooming, and you can look around and see that everywhere else there are wavy blades of grass, but nowhere near this height, and there are no flowers in bloom at all right now.
Whoop. Well, that's new.
The rest of you...
That must be rather tall. It must be like tall grass.
Yeah, it is. So not just around your feet, but around your body. The rest of you, you see Leah talking, kind of excitedly, kind of heatedly, with Lorelei as they discuss, this change that she's just undergone, and after a minute of that, she kind of calms herself and seems to become a bit meditative. And in the midst of this, like a few seconds after she closes her eyes and starts to focus, you see just this pink swirl of magic engulf her, very much like Misty Step. And she vanishes, and then you catch the movement out of the corner of your eye as these tall stalks of flowers, shoot up out of the ground in this spot over to the west. And you can kind of just barely catch glimpses of Leah's pink hair among these yellow flowers that stand as tall as she is.
It kind of like rustles through the grass, but this was unexpected. Useful though.
Lorelei flutters over to you as she did not teleport with you, and she looks around at the flowers that are beginning to wilt and wither away again until that spot looks normal, and she just sort of looks at you a bit wild-eyed and she says, "I've seen you teleport, but never like that before."
No, this is new. I wonder if it's related to my hair and all.
Probably. The mist that took you was the same color as your hair, I think.
But I hadn't really understood how it changes.
Well, how does Nalia's hair change?
It seems to be different whenever she's acting different.
Acting different? Like
she looks different when she's sad and when she's happy, like kind of
emotional magic.
Yes.
That's pretty fey.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, Archfey do it all the time. That's why the Feywild is so, shifty. It just changes with their will, which could be driven by emotion. It is for some of them.
Wait, am I a Fey now?
I don't know. I mean, you kind of already were. At least half Fey. Maybe now you're a little bit more Fey.
Oh, Laramandas is not gonna like this.
You definitely still look like you got a lot of human in you if you're worried about it.
Well, not very. It's kind of fun.
Just tell Laramandas that you're a Fey and you're going to use Fey magic on him. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. Ask him if he wants to make a deal.
Ooh, that would be cool.
To use Fey magic to bind deals?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, that would kind of make you like an Archfey. Then you could have your own warlocks.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that powerful. I still get my magic from Centaur now.
Yeah, but you could try.
If I'm gonna try on someone, it should probably be Dad. He's the easiest to fool.
You're going to make your dad into a warlock?
What? No. I meant like making a deal. Like,
Oh, yeah, he would definitely agree to a deal with you without even thinking about it. Didn't he already have a deal with you, like giving you a book on your birthday, and then he didn't do it?
you're right.
What the fuck?
I haven't asked for that in return.
We should get that book out of him. He owes it to you. Your birthday was like a month and a half ago. Or something. How old are you?
14. In May.
Is that old?
No,
Is
not
it
really.
young?
Especially not from a face point of view.
I
I
have
wonder
no
if I get
idea.
older now.
I'm 14.
Really?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Like, 14 what? Are you 14 trees?
I don't really know.
Oh.
We turn, like, whenever a year passes.
What's a year?
That's something I'm gonna have to ask someone else. It's like,
She flies
after
away.
a certain amount of... Oh, okay.
God.
She flies over to Laramandas. Laramandas, there's a pixie floating in front of your face.
Hello.
What's a year?
Explain
it to me as though I were a child. I think I might be.
Yeah, kind of skips after, so it's still pink.
To a Fae, he would probably say one cycle of the seasons.
She
One
blinks
complete
at
cycle.
She blinks at you. I've been through a lot of those, but, like, they're really different here than where I'm from. In that they have an order to them. Like, you guys were kind of, like, coldish and rainy, and now you're sunny and bright. And sometimes we go from the coldish and rainy to the snow.
We do that too, from autumn to winter.
Age is certainly more difficult to define, or I guess a year is certainly more difficult to define when one spends time within the wilds of the Feywild.
You can kind of see her eyes starting to glaze over as you extol all of this at her, and eventually, you kind of see her shake her head and refocus on you, and says, "What age are people when others begin to accept what they say and stop questioning them so much?"
That's an excellent question.
When is a person on this plane an adult?
That is a very cultural question.
She just glares at you and says, "Please just say a number, any number."
Amongst elves and Eladrin, it's generally around 100.
I'm 100.
100?
Yep. I'm an adult, so you should listen to me.
No, I had to wait until I'm 100 until I can be considered an adult.
Yeah, it's gonna suck for you. You're only 14. It means you have to wait like 300 years or something.
But no.
I think that you are more culturally aligned with the mortal plane, and so will probably be considered an adult closer to 20.
I could be 20.
Would you like me to use a divination at some point to determine how old you are?
I wish you luck with that. I actually have no idea if that'll work. Yes, do it. But for now,
I cannot work on it now, but it would be an interesting experiment.
I'm going to be 20J. That's a good number, right?
I think it's an entirely reasonable number. And Laramentis, I think, is actually sincere when he is saying that, like, considering that she's a fae and like time is meaningless in the interim spaces of the Feywild. Like, Laramentis couldn't tell you how old his parents are.
They travel a lot, and it's a problem.
Laramentis also probably couldn't actually tell you how old he really is.
Yeah, Leah just looks extremely confused.
Wait, do I have to use the word years?
No. Usually giving a number will imply years when you're talking about an age.
Okay.
Unless it's about a baby.
Laramentis?
Yes?
Since we're talking about age and adulthood, I read once that elves changes their names when they become adults. Is this true?
To the voice in the sky. Is this culturally true?
My new name is Lorelei J. I'm an adult.
It's in the Dungeon Player's Handbook.
It
but
is
I don't know
something
if
that
it's
has been in several versions of D&D. I never really made use of it, but that is not to say that you couldn't. It is if it is a cultural thing that you think you like, then yes. Otherwise, like, you're the only elf in the party, so if you're not going to use it, I would just say don't worry about it.
So I think Laramentis would say there are many groups of elves in Eladrin who do that. Yes, there are many that don't, but
I'll keep that in mind.
July.
Did you see what I did?
the teleporting.
Yeah, and grass grew and it concealed me for a little bit. It didn't last though.
How long did it last? Like around?
20J years.
I'm talking to the voice in the sky.
Oh.
Because Laramentis was right here to see.
20J.
What? It's fun to be her. She's dumb.
No, I know. I love it.
Yeah, it lasts about 6 seconds.
Okay. That will certainly prove useful. I think that Laramentis probably has not seen somebody do that particular bit of magic before.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe, like, a fairy.
Yeah. We haven't used that version of Face Step thus far.
Yeah, and we also altered it a bit for mine, so...
Yeah. Because
See,
it's
it
gotta be
won't really-
cool.
Yeah, so it won't really be the same like if Nalia did it.
So, the color of the smoke, the mist, or the color of the flowers was similar to her hair?
The color of the mist was similar to her hair. The flowers looked pretty, like, the kind that would grow there when they were in season.
Okay.
These were yellow.
Do you get the sense that that spell will change depending on your season?
I think maybe.
Lorelei
Vampire
J
Master
is
Chase
certain that it
seasons,
will.
I haven't really figured out how to properly change my season yet. I think it's based on mood, but that's not something I can just do on command.
Better control over the seasonal changes certainly comes with age amongst the Eladrin that I am acquainted with.
When Leah's an adult, her name's gonna be Liak.
Ew.
Because K is after J.
She didn't think you'd figure it out that fast. She looked surprised.
Just whoa.
He's an adult.
Yeah, just rolls her eyes. Mendes? How do you
yes?
trance?
How do I trance?
Well, if
Yeah.
I'm more like an elf now, maybe I don't need to sleep.
That would certainly be useful. I don't know that I have ever tried to explain to someone how to trance.
It's fine. I'm an adult and I can explain this because I've watched him trance lots of times. Alright, listen closely, Leah. What you're gonna do is you're gonna sit down. You should probably cross your legs or something kind of comfortable on the ground. Or whatever, if there's a bed. And then you're going to pick the nearest vertical object, usually a wall, and you're gonna glare at it. Like, you're trying to see through it. Like, you're angry that its particles are in the way of your face. And you just do that for, like, 16J minutes. Is it seconds? It's seconds.
Mendes have tranced longer than that.
That depends what J is.
It's a number, stupid. Maybe I'm wrong about him being an adult.
I mean, saying that I trance for longer than that, it depends on what length of time.
Wait, time comes in lengths? I hate this plane.
Dia just shrugs.
So, how much time is in my sword? It's got length. She pulls out her little sword and points it directly at your nose, Laramantis.
Do we have the concept of light years and time and space measured by the distance that light travels?
I was thinking the same. Like, I know who this works.
What's the
followers of Pelor certainly believe this. Excuse me, I need to go trance.
It's a figure of speech.
That's also why Leah didn't explain, like, solar cycles, because I don't think Leah knows how that works.
It's just as well. Lorelei might not either.
Even though she's
Leah
20J?
doesn't actually know what makes a year. It's just like, it's been a year. These months are past.
Lorelei vanishes. Excuse me, Lorelei J vanishes.
No, but still Lorelei Brian.
I'm starting to wonder if I'm not the only one that changed.
You made her think about time.
Her behavior seems entirely in line with Fae to me.
Well, if I'm a Fae now, maybe I should start acting the same.
You just hear a disembodied voice from somewhere nearby going, "Time is stupid."
Wouldn't you say that's a deal, Laramandas?
You just hear a tiny whisper, and you're going, "You should take it. It's a good bargain."
Is Leah the Wishmaster now or something?
I don't know what you are proposing as a bargain.
She hesitates. She's like, I actually don't know either. I was just being silly.
Damn it, we almost had him. So yeah, she's invisible, but very clearly not far. And hates time. So, yeah. We will say that you all spend the rest of the day breaking up to the army and finding people that you specifically believe that you can help with your experience fighting, with your knowledge of magic or dragons or whatever else. So I want each of you to roll me I think it should be wisdom-based or charisma-based. So yeah, either wisdom or charisma, and then either persuasion or I guess history, just because that's like teaching.
I do
Good at
medicine.
history.
And then
Do we
put them
still roll
in the
d20?
chat, because we're gonna take an average. And that'll represent how you, as a group, manage to help or anti-help this group with your experiences and ability to convey them.
Well, Leah's way too focused on her own changes to even try, so she's not gonna actually contribute in helping the army.
That's reasonable.
You said wisdom or charisma?
Wisdom or charisma, persuasion or history.
So it's just one we're rolling?
Yeah, you should pick one that you feel would be your way of conveying these things between those two, and then write down in the Snark chat what the result, the total is. That way I can do a quick average, and see how much you as a group help them as a group for day 1 of at least 3 of training. And then
So you said wisdom, charisma, but persuasion, history. So we're picking one of those stats and one of those skill proficiencies.
I
Because
think
like
that
history is intelligence, so like it would be like
Hey, you're
wisdom, but intelligence proficiency. Or how is this happening?
yeah, that's on me. But like I would allow somebody to roll strength intimidation, we'll do a wisdom-based, either one of those two, if that's what you want, or a charisma-based, either one of those two, if you
Cool.
want.
I just wanted to make sure that I was interpreting that correctly.
God, these two over here just beasting things. The rest of you better pull your weight and keep the average high.
Should I also roll, considering Leah was just going to
No. I think that if Leah is really fully kind of on her own thing right now, really trying to figure out her new magic, it's not unreasonable that she would just not be engaging with the army well until she feels more comfortable in her new body.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
She's spending a lot of time just practicing and figuring out herself, and
Just means that Leah contributes a 0, it's fine.
So she tries to trance at some point as well, so...
You find it really hard to meditate with the army making so much noise right over there. And then we'll begin next session with end of day and sleep stuff, so that we can go over to the tavern that Thandros has all the officers staying at while the rest of the 3,000 soldiers fucking sleep in tents.
Wow. Of all the people to get the lowest roll, I would not have figured it'd be Larry Mendes.
So the problem was that I couldn't use my intelligence.
Yeah.
And my wisdom and charisma are both +0.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My charisma's high. My persuasion's +9.
still the average on this is like 26, 27
Yeah, no,
even.
My
That's
persuasion's
scary.
+16.
A scary
I rolled a
average.
19.
That is a scary average.
Yeah.
I am not proficient in either persuasion or history, so.
Okay.
I'm proficient in persuasion and
And dragon.
yeah, and a dragon. So +13, rolled an 18.
Yeah. All right. So I would say that this first day, as you find your own smaller groups of the soldiers, though in some cases smaller means like a couple hundred people at once. You begin imparting the knowledge you have, your experiences, and talking about what you know about dragons, and in Laramenda's case, kind of trying to parse out how much magic they've learned and how they've learned it, so that you can try to build on that.
I think Laramentis is very sad about looking out amongst the people.
They definitely seem like there are more people getting more out of the martial training. But you've got a good little group of magic people. Several of them do seem to be telling you, I inherited magic from my great-grandfather. He ate a magic mushroom once. And it was like, watch, I can make this thing sparkle, and they focus really hard on it, and they wave their fingers and nothing happens. Like, it usually happens. It's just a little finicky. They might have magic. They might, in fact, be sorcerers. But this is unrefined.
I think Laramentis is probably physically separating people out into different levels, so that he can properly figure out how to address them. So there's a group of those ones that are say they can do stuff, and which he's going to need to fully identify whether they're actually able,
And we'll get into the details of that next time. Let me just say, in summary, what all of you who are helping these people find, given your exceptional roles on this, you are very good teachers today, and you will really find that these people are sponges. Is your assessment of it? I will say is that you've got a very good group of people who very much want to make somebody proud, want to get revenge, want to fight these dragons, and show them what for. There are a lot of victims here, or relatives of victims, families that have been hurt, and they really want to be able to do something about it. But you are finding that your talks and your working with them and your explanations and training are really, really helpful. Even more than you expected. And what you begin to realize is that these guys have heart, but Tatsuya must have spent so much time traveling around recruiting that he never really got to sit down with these people and start training them in earnest. They lack fundamentals, and that's what you guys are building on today, is fundamentals, and it's going a long way. That's what you feel like. Every day's not going to be as much progress as this is, but you realize you're working with warm clay right now. They're warm clay. that these people managed to fend off a Leviathan is probably entirely due to the equipment they had having no requirement for ability. Push a button and throw. Okay.
I would say one thing that Jebel wants to do is check out their medics.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know that they've got at least 4 clerics that that Thandros told you that they were able to get a hold of between the temples of Bahamut and Cord. But with them is a goodly sized contingent, maybe 50, 60 people who are being trained in medicine or who have some training in medicine and know how to bandage a wound, know what herbs to grind to stop an infection of a cut. I wouldn't call any of them experts, but they can help. They know some field medicine. They would definitely benefit from more training, especially from such an experienced alchemist as yourself.
I'm also really good at medicine.
Indeed. But yeah, I think that's where we'll call it for today. You have begun, however long it is you decide, to train these soldiers. And we'll pick up next time with the end of today, and perhaps meeting some officers. If I decide to name them. Anyway, thank y'all for being here, and that's, what is it, 5,000 experience, for those that still need experience. We should be quickly, clawing our way toward everybody at max level.
Oh, snap.
And, yeah, we'll call it there. So, bye, stream!
Goodbye.
That's right.
Goodbye.
Bye.